Hello, IK here. Welcome the React Redux application lifecycle. React Redux application is deployed on a Node.js server. Enter the web address in the address bar of the browser. Index.html is loading. This is important. Notice, extension is HTML. How can index.html be loaded from JavaScript server Node.js? It is possible because Node.js server has embedded web server, and in that territory it is public folder lay index.html. Index.html loaded in web client browser parse index.html and create document object model of index.html. It is standard communication by hypertext transfer protocol between web server and web client. Index.html is loaded, document object model is created in web client, and now index.html calls index.js. Index go in JavaScript engine and would be processed. At first, import React from React. It is first statement by statement. First statement go to tokenize, parse, virtual machine, assembler, machine language. It is process of compiling, translating, interpreting. And result of that we have in memory heap, we have location with React. In that location is React reference, what point to React library. Follow statement, import create root from React DOM client. Go to tokenize, parse, virtual machine language, assembler, machine language, and finished in memory heap with create root in one location, point, it is reference, what point to React DOM client library. Follow statement import app from app. Go to JavaScript engine through process of tokenize, parse, virtual machine, language assembler, machine language, and finished in memory heap app as a reference to app. It is to location in memory heap. Reference point to value. Follow statement import provider from React Redux. Go to engine, tokenize, process, parse, virtual machine, assembler, machine language, and finished in memory heap as provider reference to React Redux. Provider reference to library React Redux. To location. Follow statement import store from app store. Goes to tokenize, parse, virtual machine, assembler, machine language, and finished in memory heap, store in one location. It is reference to app store, point to app store value. Now we have statement constant container, declaration of container variable. And the right side, assignment, is calling function. Document is object, it is index.html. There is a method get. Get element by ID, and parameter of that function, of that method, is root. Remember, I said important and mark it. Important in index.html is element, HTML element div, ID equals root. Here is that root. That name now is parameter of get element by ID. Object is document, index.html. It means that container here is virtualization, abstraction of div HTML element in document object model. And the left side is container is variable, equal calling function. Right side, we call function. And when we call function, that function open frame on stack. And look at first, we have container. After that, document get element by ID, it is function. And we have a root. Root, yes, root is a parameter. Root is parameter. And it is push top last in, it is a root last in, first out. It means that recursive solution, because for function we need root. It means, okay, take out pop up root. After that, pop up document get element, because we have that root. Document get element by ID, pop out from top, and after that container pop up, and stack is empty. It means, again, first go to final result. Final result of this statement, of this calling function, is container. It would be result of function, it would be container. And we stay at first container. After that go value, document get element by root. After that root, it means we take and root is here, finished with him, take it pop up. Root now coming function is on the top. In function we have function have access to root because it was the first, and the function resolved with parameter root would be resolved, and all that value would be container. Push container, push document get element ID, push root on the top. We have last push on the top root. First out. Root out, document get element by ID out, and container is created and full of value. Container is virtualization, it is abstraction of HTML element div named root. And it would be used in virtual part of our React Redux application. And through that would be actual document object model through that virtualization. Okay, pop-up root, pop-up document get element recursive, and pop-up container stack is empty. And result of that, we have a constant container. We have object container. It is abstraction or virtualization of a div in index.html named root. Statement constant root declaration of variable root equal create root parameter container calling function. It is syntax for call function like before, and it must go to stack. Go to stack first, push on the top root, because it would be final product of that process of function. And after that, create root container, and after that container. It means we must to solve, we pop up only from top. We push on top, we pop up from the top. Now, last in is container parameter, and it would be important for function, and now container pop up first, after that create root container, and after that it is solution of create root is value for root. It means that root is created by create root coming, we have import of that. It is in memory heap, and we have in memory heap that create, and we use here create root. We call create root with parameter container. It means that create root, it means that root is our React application. We don't see code, but we know, I know, and now you know that root is React application, our basic root React application. And it means that our React application would be visible virtually abstract through container. It would be visible actual document object model. Every function we get to stack. From what? From memory heap. Here is, we have in memory heap create root. We have it from import create root from React DOM client. Create root from React DOM client. And also we have container in memory heap, because we declare container before. And okay, it means first go root, declaration root, after that create root, after that container, it is push on the top, pop up container, pop up create root, and pop up root like final solution. We have now root, we have now basic React, and root, that object root is our basic React finished in memory heap. At last, we have a root.render. It means that our root object, there is a method render, and the parameter of that method is providers with props store equals store. And we have open tag of provider and closed tag of provider. Provider is a React element, but provider, it means that provide to React what? Redux. And provider is provider of Redux that and app is between open tag provider and closed tag provider. It means that app is not a child of provider, because child of provider must be in provider component, but here we have only tags, and it is not self-closed provider, but that open tag and closed tag here means that would be rendered at first would be rendered provider, and when finished rendering provider would call app. App is fundamental component of our React application, and every component behind that is child, etc. Would have possibility subscribe to Redux. A provider first rendered and created Redux. It is thanks to store with the props store would be created Redux store, Redux reducer inside of store. And after rendering of provider, we have a ready to rendering component of React. And because when rendered provider finished, we have Redux, store, reducer. Reducer have output state. And when we have rendered app and other child of app, they find state, initial state in the output of reducer. And provider finished rendered, store is created and now called app. Here in this movie, I will not show what is behind app, but I only show and spoke about what I see now. And app, when rendering app, but before that we must go here. Render is function, must go on the stack. And it is, look at in memory heap, we have a root, because declared before, declaration and instantiation mean value, root location is reference point to value of root. Root, container, store, provider, app, create, root, React, all it is in memory heap. And now we have root render function. And here it is, first push on stack render. After that push app, after that provider, after that store. And recursive, last in, first out, store, first go out, finished, created. After that, provider finished, because store is props of provider. Store finished, provider finished, pop-up, provider, app, finished rendering, finish rendering app, pop-up, and render is finished, stack is empty. When app is rendering, but in some other movie I will show what would be behind that rendering, that child, etc. But now, for clearness, when app finished rendering, we have a user interface on the screen, and it is a finished story about React life scope from 0 to working. Of course, closing application, all would be clear from memory heap, from stack is clear. It always stack is clear after function is resolved. but would be memory heap clear and nothing in memory. But now we are in working condition. We see user interface on the screen. We can interact with that user interface, and that part behind fundamental application, we know we have a child component, etc. in some next video. Here is interesting that everything finished in a memory heap. And the function, when we would be called function, must be in memory heap to take it from a memory heap to an open frame on stack. And because of that, here is import, React from React, import create root. Import is like declaration. We import something from Node package, npm manager package, and import is some kind of declaration, because after import something, we have a reference and value. Reference always point to value. It is for every import, and it is like constant container, constant root. It is like we declare container. Again, we have container point to div id root. We have root point would be created by create root. And root declaration of object, of variable, means create a variable, and variable always have a reference. It is a name of a variable, and point to value. Reference point to value. Name of variable point to value. Also, all what we import, there is a name, there is a reference, and that reference point to value. And point from where coming it, and when it coming it is in memory heap. And all that you see here is memory heap, React, create root, app, provider, store. Function must be in a memory heap at first. It must be defined, must be declared. And because when calling function is impossible if there is no function in memory heap. When we call function, it means that function declaration exists in memory heap, and every time calling function must go to stack. And all elements of a function go in that frame of function, and recursive solving, first in, last out. Recursive solving until stack was empty and function is executed, and all sub-function and variable parametry, etc. And after that, stack is empty and ready for other calling of function. Again, summary. Every variable, every function, every object array, all that must be in memory heap. In memory heap, it must have name, reference, and value. Reference point to value. And what is in memory heap can be used in our process. And also, when we have in processing a calling of function call, we take that function on the stack, take from memory heap or stack, recursive solution, last in, first out, and stack is clear, but we have a new value in memory heap. Like here, we have container and we have root. Okay. It's all for this video. Thank you for watching this video.